My wife cheated on me with her professor, so I got her expelled, erased her degree, and made sure no school would ever accept her again. If you had asked me a year ago, I would have told you my life was damn near perfect. I had a great job, a house I loved, a few close friends I could count on, and most importantly, I had Anna. My wife. My best friend. My partner in crime. We met when we were both in our early 20s. Fell hard, moved fast. The kind of connection people dream about. You know, finishing each other's sentences, inside jokes nobody else understood, late nights talking about everything and nothing. She made even the most boring days feel like an adventure. We built a good life together. Took road trips across the country. Spent lazy Sundays binge-watching terrible TV shows. We had our little rituals too, Friday night pizza, Saturday morning coffee runs, random dance parties in the kitchen when our favorite songs came on. When Anna turned 30, she decided she wanted more out of life. She had always talked about going back to school, getting her second degree. Something for herself. Something to feel proud of. I couldn't have been more supportive. I mean, how could I not be? I was proud of her drive. I wanted her to chase her dreams. We even celebrated the day she got accepted into the program. I took her out to a fancy dinner, bought her a necklace she'd been eyeing for months. She wore it every day after that. Said it made her feel lucky. I thought we were solid. Unbreakable. If anything, I thought we were about to start an exciting new chapter together. I didn't realize it was the beginning of the end. Not yet anyway. The first sign something was off was small. Barely a blip on the radar. It was a Thursday night. I was on the couch, half watching a rerun of Seinfeld with a beer in hand when I realized Anna hadn't laughed once. Usually she'd be cracking up at George's meltdowns. But that night? Nothing. Just scrolling on her phone, glued to it like she was waiting for something or someone. I asked if she was okay and she smiled too quickly and said she was just tired. School had been draining lately. That made sense, I guess. Still, the smile didn't quite reach her eyes. After that, the changes came like drops of water from a leaky faucet. She started staying late on campus more often. Study groups, she said. Thesis work. My supervisor's really pushing me, she explained one night. I nodded, supportive as always. But something about the way she said it felt rehearsed. Like she was sticking to a script. She changed her phone password. That one stung a little. We'd never had secrets like that before. I asked her about it, half joking, and she told me she had sensitive research files and couldn't risk anyone snooping, not even you, Mr. Curious. I laughed, but it didn't feel right. She started dressing a little differently too. Not in a bad way. Just sharper. More makeup. A new perfume. Trying to feel confident around all those 20-year-olds, she said with a wink. I told her she looked beautiful because she did, but inside something tensed. Then there were the absences. Little moments where I turned to talk to her and she wasn't there. She stopped singing in the shower. She started sleeping with her phone under her pillow. She'd lock herself in the office for hours, and when I'd check in, she'd quickly close her laptop or minimize the screen. I told myself not to be paranoid. That it was just the stress of school. The pressure. The deadlines. But the silence between us started growing louder. And I couldn't help but wonder, was I imagining things? Or was someone coming between us? I wasn't ready to admit it yet, but the cracks were starting to show. And soon, they were going to split everything wide open. It's funny how your brain tries to protect you. Even when the red flags are slapping you in the face, you convince yourself it's just the wind. That's where I was. Somewhere between suspicion and denial. Watching Anna drift further away. Telling myself not to be that guy. Not the paranoid husband. Not the insecure, controlling type who snoops through his wife's stuff or stalks her like a lunatic. But one night, she told me she was going to the gym after class. Said she needed to burn off some stress. I said, sure, have fun. And gave her a kiss on the cheek. Then I waited 5 minutes, grabbed my keys and followed her. I don't even know what I expected to see. Some dramatic movie moment where she jumps into a black SUV and makes out with a mystery man in the back seat. I felt ridiculous, like I was playing detective in a bad soap opera. But I needed peace of mind, or closure, or maybe just proof that I was overreacting. I stayed a few cars behind her. She drove to the campus gym, parked and went inside. She was in there for about an hour. Then she left, got into her car, and headed straight to a nearby cafe. I watched from the parking lot as she met up with 2 of her classmates. All women, and they laughed and talked over coffee. Then they left and she drove home. That was it. Nothing suspicious. Nothing dramatic. Just a woman working out and having lattes with friends. I actually laughed on the drive home. Laughed at myself for being such a suspicious idiot. I promised I'd stop being so nosy. I told myself I just needed to trust her. And for a few weeks I did. I let it go. The gym visits continued. Study nights. Group projects. Late night cramming sessions. Everything seemed normal again. Until that one message. That one tiny message that changed everything. It happened on a Tuesday night. Anna had fallen asleep early or pretended to, I honestly couldn't tell anymore. She was curled up on her side of the bed, breathing steady, phone clutched loosely in her hand. I was still awake. Just lying there, staring at the ceiling, trying not to spiral. But then her phone buzzed. Quiet, like a whisper. A single notification lighting up the screen for just a second. Normally, I wouldn't have looked. I swear. But something told me to. One of those gut feelings you can't explain. I rolled over and glanced at the screen. Samuel Keller, can't stop thinking about you. My heart dropped. I stared at it for a full 10 seconds, waiting for my brain to offer up a reasonable explanation. Some innocent context. Anything. Samuel Keller. That wasn't a friend. That wasn't a girl from class. That was a full name, a man's name, and not in her usual contacts list. I gently nudged her awake, trying to sound casual even though my chest was pounding. Hey, I whispered. You got a message. Who's Samuel Keller? She blinked like she didn't know where she was, then sat up slowly. Oh, that's my academic advisor. He's helping me with my thesis. At midnight. I asked, eyebrows raised. She hesitated just for a second. Then she shrugged. He's just intense about deadlines. It's not weird. He does this with all his students. I nodded, but I didn't believe a word of it. There was something about the tone of that message. Not professional. Not academic. It felt intimate. Still, I didn't say anything else. I let her roll over and go back to sleep. But I stayed up. All night. Because that tiny text confirmed what I'd been ignoring for months. Something was going on. And I was done pretending it wasn't. After that night, I couldn't let it go. You know that feeling when you realize something's been right in front of you the whole time, but you didn't want to see it? That's where I was. Every late-night gym run, every study session, every time she pulled her phone close when I walked into the room, it all started clicking into place. But still, I had no proof. Just a name, a message, and a sinking feeling in my chest that wouldn't go away. So I did what any man on the edge would do. I Googled him. Dr. Samuel Keller, professor of political science. Mid-40s, silver hair, smug smile in every faculty photo. Author of 3 books, known around campus for being charming and engaged with students. The kind of guy who probably never missed a chance to say something deep over a glass of red wine. I looked up his My Professor page. A disturbing number of reviews mentioned how friendly he was with his female students. One even said he flirts more than he lectures. That was enough for me to dig deeper. I waited until Anna went to the shower one night and grabbed her phone off the charger. She'd changed her password again, but I'd watched her type it in a few days before. I cracked it on the first try. I scrolled through her messages. Most of it looked normal. Family group chats. Classmates. Some emails about her thesis. Then I found him. The thread with Keller. It was under his full name, like a professional contact, but the tone was anything but professional. There weren't many messages, she'd clearly deleted a bunch. But there were just enough to make my stomach turn. I missed the way you looked at me today. Next time, don't wear that perfume unless you're trying to drive me insane. Let's skip the meeting and just meet. She hadn't replied to everything. But when she did, it wasn't cold. It wasn't shutting him down. It was playful. Flirty. She was entertaining it. Or worse, encouraging it. That's when the idea hit me. If I couldn't get the truth from Anna, maybe I could get it as Keller. So I did something a little unethical. I swapped his number with mine in her contacts. From now on, anytime she thought she was texting Dr. Samuel Keller, she'd be texting me. The first message I sent as Dr. Keller was simple. Had a hard time focusing today. You looked amazing. I sat there, heart pounding in my ears, staring at the screen like it might explode. Minutes passed. I started second-guessing myself. Maybe she'd smell a trap. Maybe she'd realize something was off in the way I wrote. Maybe this was stupid. Then, ping. She responded. You're terrible. Focus on my paper, not my outfit. I sat back, feeling a sick twist in my stomach. Not because I caught her flirting, I expected that. No, it was how easy it was. How natural it seemed for her to slip into that tone. Like it wasn't even something she thought twice about. I decided to push a little further. We should celebrate after you finish your thesis. Dinner, drinks, you and me. Another minute. Then, you know that's dangerous, right? Dangerous. She didn't say no. She didn't say stop. She said dangerous. I wanted to throw the phone across the room. Break something. Scream. Anything to drown out the white-hot rage building in my chest. But instead, I kept calm. I kept playing the part. Over the next few days, I texted her more, just a little here and there. Enough to keep the line tight, but not so much that she'd get suspicious. Each time, she responded. Sometimes cautious, sometimes bold. It didn't take long before she started revealing more. She talked about how complicated things were. How she felt trapped sometimes. How thrilling it was to have a secret. How he made her feel seen. She never once mentioned me. Her husband. The man who thought he was building a life with her. I saved every message. Screenshotted everything. I was gathering evidence, yes. But also, I was hardening something inside myself. Killing the last scraps of love and trust that had survived up until now. I wasn't looking for proof anymore. I had it. Now I was planning something else. Something cold. Something final. I wasn't just going to leave her. I was going to make sure she lost everything she gambled away. Once I had the screenshots, I knew it wasn't enough. Catching her was one thing. Making her feel it was another. I didn't want some messy, emotional confrontation where she cried and said it was a mistake. I didn't want some half-assed apology where she blamed stress or bad judgment. No. I wanted her to lose the one thing she was gambling everything for, her second chance at a future. So I started quietly laying the groundwork. First, I watched her habits. Anna kept all her school files on her laptop. She was a creature of habit, same passwords, same sloppy security. Half the time, she left her laptop open when she went to shower or run errands. One night, while she was out at a study session, I copied her entire thesis folder onto a flash drive. Every draft, every note, every source. Then, using my copy, I made some adjustments. Tiny changes at first. Deleted a few footnotes. Replaced legitimate quotes with ones that were just a little off. Inserted a few paragraphs lifted straight off obscure websites, textbook plagiarism. Nothing big enough to notice at a glance. But just enough that, when she finally submitted it, the plagiarism software the university used would light up like a Christmas tree. Meanwhile, I kept playing Dr. Keller over text, keeping her distracted, making sure she was fully invested in the lie we were weaving together. She even joked once, "Can't wait till this thesis is over so we can really celebrate." I almost laughed out loud reading it. Celebrate? Oh, sweetheart. You have no idea what's coming. The final part of my plan was petty but necessary. I downloaded a few of their flirty texts and scheduled them to be anonymously emailed to the university's ethics board the day after her thesis defense. Timing was everything. If I pulled this off right, she'd not only fail spectacularly. She'd be publicly humiliated. Maybe even expelled. And as for Dr. Keller? Let's just say tenure wouldn't save him. All I had to do was wait. It all went down faster than I expected. Anna submitted her thesis 2 weeks before the deadline, a huge relief, or so she thought. She was buzzing around the house, lighter than I'd seen her in months, already making plans for graduation, job hunting, maybe even teaching someday. I smiled, played along. Inside, I was counting the days. The morning of her defense, she dressed up sharp, navy blazer, heels, a delicate gold necklace I had given her years ago, the one she called her lucky charm. Looking at her, you'd think she had it all figured out. And for a while, so did she. The defense itself wasn't open to the public. But I didn't need to be there to know how it went. I waited at home, pretending to work, phone close by, heart hammering in my chest like a drumline. Then, around noon, it started. First a text. Defense postponed. Some issues with the paper. Don't know what's going on. I didn't respond. Just waited. 2 hours later, another one. They're accusing me of plagiarism. This is insane. I would never. I could practically hear the panic bleeding through the screen. I imagined her sitting there, surrounded by cold, stiff-faced professors, blinking back tears as they scrolled through highlighted sections of her thesis, the ones I had poisoned, while plagiarism percentages ticked higher and higher on the report. Another hour later, a call. I let it go to voicemail. Then another, and another. By sunset, she was home. When she walked through the door, her face was a wreck, blotchy, mascara smeared, eyes wild. "They're investigating me," she blurted out. They're saying I cheated, that my thesis is full of plagiarized material. I swear I didn't. I don't know how. She broke down crying on the couch. Ugly sobs that racked her whole body. And for the first time in our entire marriage, I felt absolutely nothing. No pity, no sympathy, no urge to comfort her. Just a cold, quiet satisfaction. Because this was just the beginning. Tomorrow the real bomb would drop. The one she would never see coming. The one that would burn her double life to the ground. The next morning I woke up early. Not because I was anxious, because I had work to do. While Anna tossed and turned upstairs, probably replaying her academic funeral in her head, I was at the kitchen table, sipping coffee and setting up the final phase of my plan. The email was already written. Anonymous, of course. Screenshots attached. All the messages between Dr. Keller and Anna. Flirty texts. Invitations to meet. Little inside jokes that no professor should ever send a student. I sent it to 3 places. The university's ethics committee. The dean of academic affairs. And for good measure, the anonymous tips email listed on the university's own website. Then I waited. Not even 3 hours later, all hell broke loose. Anna's phone started blowing up first. Unknown numbers. Faculty contacts. Classmates. She kept declining the calls, curling deeper into herself on the couch like a scared animal. She had no idea yet what was coming. Around noon, she finally answered one. I watched her face pale as she listened. She didn't say a word, just nodded. A hand pressed to her forehead like she was trying to physically hold herself together. When she hung up, she turned to me. They know everything, she whispered. They said someone sent proof. Messages. Emails. Between me and Dr. Keller. They're launching a full investigation. I just stared at her. Played the dumb, supportive husband. Told her we'd get through it. Meanwhile, my phone, my real phone, buzzed with an alert. Breaking news. University rector under investigation for inappropriate conduct with student. They didn't name Anna yet, but they would. 2 hours later, she got an official email. Suspension pending investigation. Revocation of her thesis submission. Probable expulsion. That night, her parents called, furious and confused. She tried to explain, but how do you explain away proof? The next morning, a local news blog posted an article with Keller's name splashed across it. Anonymous sources. Student accusations. Whispers about a married student involved. Anna's dream career? Gone. Her academic reputation? Shattered. Her secret affair? Public knowledge. I watched it all unfold from across the room, sipping my coffee like it was the best damn movie I'd ever seen. She wasn't just losing me. She was losing everything. Exactly as she deserved. For the next few days, the house was a graveyard. Anna barely spoke. She barely ate. She just wandered from room to room, her phone clutched in her hand like a life raft, waiting for a call that would somehow magically fix everything. It never came. Meanwhile, I was busy packing. Not dramatically, not throwing things into a suitcase and storming out. No, I was calm. Surgical. A box here, a drawer emptied there. Little by little, erasing myself from the life we'd built together. She finally noticed on a Thursday evening. I was stacking up the last of my clothes when she walked into the bedroom, eyes red-rimmed and hollow. "Where are you going?" she croaked. I zipped the suitcase closed with a snap. "I'm leaving," I said. Plain and simple. She stared at me like I'd slapped her. "You can't just leave," she said, voice cracking. "We can fix this. We can go to therapy. I cut her off. "No, Anna. You can't fix this. You can't lie your way out of it. You can't cry your way out of it. You can't cheat and get sympathy points." Her mouth opened. Closed. No words came out. I grabbed the divorce papers off the dresser, already filled out, just waiting for her signature, and tossed them onto the bed. "You can sign these, or I can take the screenshots and emails public," I said, voice low and even. "All those classmates and professors you care so much about? They'll get to read every dirty little message you sent." Her face crumpled. It was almost enough to make me feel bad. Almost. But then I remembered the months of lies. The late-night texts. The secret smiles. The betrayal. And all the pity drained away. I hoisted the suitcase off the bed and headed for the door. Right before I left, I turned back one last time. Oh, I said casually, I also canceled your credit cards. Good luck paying for a lawyer. The look on her face? Worth everything. As I walked out into the bright afternoon sun, suitcase rolling behind me, I felt lighter than I had in years. Free. Finally free. And she? She was left to sit in the ruins of the life she blew up. Alone. Exactly where she put herself. It's been about 6 months since I walked out that door. Feels longer, honestly. Sometimes I still catch myself looking over my shoulder, half expecting her to come running after me, all tears and apologies. But she never did. She knew it was over. We both did. Word got around fast after I left. Anna was officially expelled from the university. Academic misconduct. Dr. Keller? Fired. His once proud career reduced to a handful of news articles and a few thousand bitter whispers on campus. I didn't even have to lift another finger. The truth was a bonfire, and all I had to do was sit back and watch it burn. At first, I thought revenge would make me feel powerful, vindicated, like I'd won somehow. And yeah, I won't lie, watching her life implode was satisfying. Seeing the fallout, knowing she lost the future she threw everything away for. But here's the thing nobody tells you. Revenge doesn't heal you. It just makes the wound prettier to look at. The betrayal? Still there. Still a heavy weight in the back of my mind some days. Trust? Yeah, good luck rebuilding that anytime soon. I'm in my own place now. A small apartment across town. Not much, but it's mine. Quiet. Safe. Some nights I sit on the balcony with a drink, staring at the city lights, wondering how two people who promised each other forever can destroy everything so completely. Was it me? Was it her? Was it both of us? I don't have the answers. Maybe I never will. All I know is this. You can love someone with your whole heart. Give them your best years, your best moments, your best self. And still not be enough. It's a hard truth. But it's also freeing. Because once you realize that, once you really accept it, you stop blaming yourself. You stop waiting for closure. You just pack your bags, slam the door, and never look back. And maybe, just maybe, you finally start living for yourself.